you to be in this meeting. Sorry, I wanted to grab my title clerk before we started going through all this.
Okay, no worries. I also hit record on it too, by the way. So if you did want to show anyone else, I'll be able to provide you with that recording afterwards.
Okay.
But yeah, we could go ahead and get started by choosing a state. So was there any specific state that you guys wanted to take a look at running a deal through? Anyone that's given you like trouble in the past?
Illinois for sure.
Illinois. Let's start there.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I've actually heard that. I know they do differ by county as well as taxes, so that's kind of troubling sometimes too. But okay. So first things first, you're really just plugging in your dealership there. It's automatically gonna be in there for you guys. And transaction type, what we do for now, it's just the title and transaction portion. Next, we're gonna get to the deal number. What DMS are you guys set up with?
Dealertrack.
Dealertrack. Okay. Yeah, we have a Dealertrack integration. So there is an additional cost for that, but it's something that you can do and it's optional. But if you wanted to, for instance, what you do is you just plug in the deal number, hit load deal, and then from there, all the owner, vehicle, insurance, all that information is going to populate into the system so you don't have to input it twice.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And from there, we just go down to the VIN. What I'll do is I've used this VIN before. It's I guess like a cool little tool that I'll show you guys here. And once I hit run the deal, you'll see what's added there. But when I do load in the deal, it plugs in the vehicle type. And then further down the road, you're going to see it has a few different fields that are already populated. We'll also run a finance deal just to add an additional page. And then below, you can see you do have the option of running the plate transfer as well. So that's really just the first page. And below here, you see that you can either run the full deal or a fee calculation only. Our program does have a transactional rate of $100. So every time you run a deal, it's $100. And what that's broken down into is it's $35 to calculate the fees, and then $65 to pull the forms, which equals at 100. So if you did just want to run the fee calc, that would only be $35.
Okay.
But for the sake of this, we'll obviously go ahead and run a full deal so we can see the fee calc at the start, pull the forms at the end. And once you click on the full deal option there, you are going to get a state-specific notice. Pretty much every state is going to be a little bit different. Some has more, some has less. As you can see with Illinois, the big one here, it just says a late fee. So it's just going to give you this, which is pretty common. I see pretty much everywhere is at 30 days. If the sales tax isn't paid, then there's going to be a late fee tacked on. Below, we have our customer support email and phone number once again, just to give you guys in clarity regarding maybe a notice that might seem a little obscure or anything like that.
Okay.
Go ahead and hit continue. So you are going to see this page right here. So this pops up for these deals that already exist for that VIN. So I run that VIN to show you that you can go back and load any one of these deals that you've previously done. So for instance, you're working on a deal, maybe the customer backs out, gets cold feet for that VIN. You can go back in there and edit the deal. So you can, come to a stopping point with that VIN, go back in there, re-edit the information to switch customers. Maybe it's like late at night and you are going to finish the deal the next day. You could go back in there once it's saved and start on that same customer. So it's not going to charge you twice is basically the biggest plus with this. So I could theoretically go hit load deal. All the information is going to be popped up. For this one, you can see I just have my name in there for the most part. However, for the most recent one, I didn't add the customer. So you could go back in there and add a new customer if that older one, wasn't going to move forward with that VIN. But for this Illinois deal, I probably ran one not that long ago, but I'm going to create a new deal so we can get new information in for this customer. And what it's going to load into is just the owner information And obviously that is some pretty basic info, but what we do is we are going to highlight everything in red that's required to print the forms. It's not going to move on if the fields in red aren't populated. So and they're just pretty basic, but of course, the more the merrier. So if you are gonna, obviously a driver's license would be good to have, date of birth, everything like that, just so you don't have to fill out more on the back end manually. But
Okay.
the red is just absolutely what's required. And as well, you could see if you guys sold to any businesses ever, that's going to be an option. And then you do have the ability to add a co-owner as well. Below here, we're going to get an address. And was there like any city or county that you guys wanted to see in Illinois, or is it just kind of the whole state gives you a little bit of trouble?
It's just the whole state because we just send everything to one specific place.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I'll just pull up something real quick and I'll just do Chicago. Okay. Okay. Then we get to the vehicle information. So another page that would be pulled over if the DMS integration was decided upon. However, obviously it's nothing too strenuous to fill out. You could see here this vehicle was a used one since it's 2010. You could plug in the title number. Once you plug that in, it pulls up this with the previous title state. So we can just say it was Iowa, where it was beforehand. And once again, the more information, the merrier. So we're going to include some of that. I plugged in the shipping weight, which actually was required here. And then I know sometimes the odometer statement is going to be in red as well, because some states are sticklers about getting that odometer statement in and even have that on the forms on the back end. Has a fuel type as well. And you can see here, there's also electric, hybrid, diesel. Various few options. And if you did click on, if it was like an electric vehicle, there might be like an additional form on the back, and it's even same with diesel. We're going to get to the trade-ins. So with trade-ins, you can see that there are going to be 4 trade-ins offered. If in the rare case you guys need to add more, which I know it's probably never going to happen, but if it does, we can manually input that for you. If not, if it's the typical one, rare occasion 2, it's kind of the same thing. You're just going to load the VIN in there. It's going to bring you the year, make, and model, and possibly the vehicle weight as well, depending on the vehicle included. However, we'll just act like this customer doesn't have a trade-in just for the sake of this demo here. And we're going to get to the purchase information. So with this vehicle, it's a used car. It was only about $15,000. And do you guys ship your vehicles?
No.
Okay. So yeah, we can leave it at no there. If yes, it would be a shipping charge. And I know sometimes that can be done elsewhere, but it can also be input into this program as well. Next, we're going to get to the taxable fields. So you can see with the taxable fields, obviously there's going to be a lot in red. And so what that means is you have to fill it out. So for instance, trade-in allowance, there wasn't a trade-in. So this does work like a calculator, and that's why everything's in red. We're going to put the 0 there since you have to fill it out and the customer didn't have a trade-in. We can get to the document charges. And what is your guys' your doc fee?
180.
Okay, not bad. 180. And also every single field here, it's going to give you a little blurb. So if you're ever confused, maybe I know some states have a lot less, some have a lot more. I did a Texas deal yesterday and there was only like 3 of these fields applicable. So some states might have more. And if you're ever questioning what it means, we always provide a little summary of what needs to be input here. And I'll just plug in some numbers into some of these fields just to be able to show you what that looks like as well. Say this customer did have down payment. Say no labor charges. And below here, we have the NAT processing fee. So with the processing fee, this is where you can charge your customers back. So for all your in-state, are you using a software for your in-state, like a CVR or EVR, something like that?
Yeah, we have a e-title in Iowa.
E-title?
That-
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And do you guys have like a chargeback using that system?
Yeah, I think it's $15 fee that we charge down to the customer.
Okay. Yeah, I think that is pretty common with Iowa. That's what I've heard. I guess some states they charge a lot more for their in-state provider. I know, however, you are going to be able to really charge whatever feels feels the best for the dealership. Some of our dealers charge 100 just to cancel out that transactional rate. Some dealerships
Yeah,
charge
that's all here.
You said that's what you do there
Yep, we would just charge out
to cancel it out.
the fee. Yep.
Gotcha. Yeah, totally understood. I know some dealers I've talked to, they charge like 150 to 200 to make up for like a profit, just because they are providing a service. And some of them, they weren't even titling or registering the customer before, so they're like, oh, we are providing a service, maybe we can upcharge a little bit. But yeah, you can just cancel that out by putting that 100 in there.
Okay.
So we could get to the next. We're going to get to the lien holder information. So here you can just plug in that
Hey,
lien holder.
Austin, sorry, I
Yes.
don't mean to cut you off. One other thing I did want to add on the purchase information, you can actually lock that NAT processing fee as well if you want to make sure that everyone charges the same. That way they can't adjust it or, charge more.
Okay.
And that's something that you can set for just the admin access. So if that's something y'all want to do, it's something that you can do.
Okay.
Sorry,
Perfect.
just wanted to add that in. Go ahead, Austin.
No worries. Good point there, Brittany. So that next page here, the lien holder information, you can see, since we did choose a finance deal, that this page is going to be an additional requirement. And there is just going to be one field that needs to be filled out, just the lien holder. However, if you do have the FEIN or just the EIN, the lien date, the lien holder code, that can be input here, as well as the address. So same thing as we've seen before, just that street address with the state, city, zip, county below.
Okay.
We're going to go to the registration information. This page does differ from state to state. It looks like this one is pretty similar for Illinois as it is with most states. So we are going to get the county. So it was Cook. The next it was Chicago. The SIP. And then we have this final part, which is in city limit. This typically deals with any rural customers. So a lot of the times it can be, you can either ask them or it could be a quick search. But for the most part, about probably 90% of the time, it's going to be yes, that it is a city limit, just depending on where the customer lives. Obviously, this customer is from Chicago and Cook County, so it is going to be within the city limit in this specific case here. And also, this doesn't always ask, every time. And city limit might not be on there for every state. Insurance information. Okay. This is going to be populated if that DMS integration was enacted. So here, pretty basic though. We could just plug in we'll just say this customer at State Farm, and then the company code, policy number doesn't have to be input, nor does the effective or expiration date. But obviously, you guys would probably have this on file. So pretty easy just to input that there. Next, we get to the DMV information. So with what you guys typically do, are you guys going through private tag agencies, or are you using DMVs for the most part?
It just really depends. Sometimes we use the tag agency, sometimes we send them to DMVs. Illinois, we send everything to the Secretary of State. We just have been writing 2 different checks, one that they'll send off for taxes and then one for the registration portion.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so that is probably the best route there. I know some DMVs are just a lot worse to deal with than others. So if you have had bad, I guess, connections or things haven't gone smoothly with some DMVs, we have partnerships with private tag agencies in every state, and private tag agencies are more personable. They are going to have a deal tracker, everything like that, so you can contact them. I mean, they're going to answer right away and let you know exactly what's happening with the deal. So if you guys did want to go through the private tag agency, you can see we provide a couple options. So we're going to give a close one in proximity. So this Illinois Title and License Service in Springfield, so not too terribly far away from Chicago. They do have a fee though. So the thing is with private tag agencies, they do work as a business. So since they are a service, they are going to be apt to get things done in a quicker manner. So sometimes our private tag agencies that we partner with, they get things done in as little as 3 days. However, you're typically going to see that like 3 to 7 day timeline of processing, but it is much quicker than some DMVs. We also have this 50 state DMV for every deal that you're going to run across the nation. However, you could see that one's a little bit more expensive. So if you did want to go just with the cheaper route with the Illinois Title and License Service, you could see it's just $50. If not,
Okay.
if we just want to go through the DMV, it's going to provide you with the DMV for this customer. So here it does say, yeah, Secretary of State. So it is going to be a little bit different too from state to state. Sometimes a tax assessor, tax collector, sometimes it is DMV, some different names, and we're going to provide it for you. So any questions from you guys before I calculate these fees to see what that looks like?
I don't think so.
Okay, gotcha. I will go ahead and hit calculate the fees, and we're going to see a line by line breakdown. Okay, so the two biggest things to pay attention to are going to be the Illinois total taxable amount, which is that $15,230, and the fee and tax summary. So the total amount to collect. So at the top, we can just see how everything is broken down. So there's that registration fee for Illinois of $151. There's a title fee of $165. We had that additional fee of $100, which was the transactional cancel out, essentially. Just that NAT processing fee is what it's called. Then we're going to see the Illinois motor vehicle taxes. So for Cook County, it is going to be a little bit different. I remember running a deal in Cook County, and then the dealership also asked me to run a deal in the southern part of Illinois, like it was right by St. Louis, and there wasn't this use tax there. So here we see there is that use tax as well of 1%. So 951 plus 152 here is what we're going to get for the total taxable amount for the Illinois motor vehicle taxes. Below, we're going to see the reciprocity tax, and I don't believe Iowa has a reciprocity tax. Is that right? You guys don't have one?
Correct. No.
Okay. Okay. So this is only appearing because our dealership that we're running is hypothetically located in Florida. So Florida is one of the few states, it's probably 5 to 10 of them, that have a reciprocity tax, and that it deals with every state. So this you guys wouldn't even have to worry about at all. It wouldn't come up on the fee schedule for you. It'd be essentially gone. So you would just see this fee and tax summary below. You wouldn't see this either because this is the reciprocity tax, the total amount due to Florida. So it would just be that tax, title, and registration fees due to Illinois, plus the NAT processing fee is the amount to collect. So just that $606.38 instead of that $1,500. But yeah, so pretty basic there. Then we also get more notices. So we see that late fee once again, and it's going to harp on that late fee throughout. So we're going to see that probably 2 or 3 times. Then we also get this customer social notice for Illinois. So it just says the state of Illinois requires a customer their social security number to be entered. So that's all that's asking there. Some states it's going to be smog. Some states it's going to be some EV notices. Just going to really be different from state to state. But we are going to let you know. And I guess another point here. Do you guys have any questions about the fee schedule or anything about these Illinois state-specific fees?
No.
Okay, perfect. So we'll go on and we're going to go print the registration forms. So the forms, $65. To reiterate, the fees were calculated to be $35. The forms are going to be $65. So when you hit that blue button there to print the registration forms, that's where that $65 would come out as part of that $100 transactional.
Yep.
And we are going to go get to the forms, which the forms, they are going to vary from state to state. Some states are obviously a little lighter, might have like 8 to 10. Other states we've seen like New York. New York has like 20 or something like that. But okay, for some reason it didn't load that first time. So we're going to hit print again. And hopefully it's going to bring up those Chicago, or not Chicago, I guess those Illinois forms. And here they are. So it's kind of in the middle. It's at 12. So what we're going to first provide you with is just a quick bulletin of saying, hey, pay close attention to who to make the check payable to, because it does differ quite drastically from even every county. Next, we're going to get the Secretary of State, the power of attorney form. So you can see some of that information is already going to be input into the system. You are going to be able to edit these fields as well. So you can see there, has the vehicle, has the customer's name once again. Below, what you're going to see is a need for a signature. So everything in yellow you see, that requires a wet signature. So this is going to differ from state to state as well. Some states are fully electronic, and obviously if it's fully electronic, they're not going to require a wet signature. Some states are still going to need a wet signature from the customer. So for Illinois, this is going to be required that the customer physically sign this. So you guys can either do it one or two ways. You can either have the customer, if they're in the dealership, they could sign it at the bill of sale. And the other option, obviously, you can mail it out to them, have it FedEx it back, or UPS overnight it, just whatever option seems best. Just that the customer is going to be able to get that ink on the paper. Next, we're going to get to the title checklist. So this is something really nifty that we're going to provide for you, just to make sure everything is going to be included and everything's going to the right spot and no delays are going to be present if it is. So these fields are able to be edited as well. So we can just go through, make sure we have everything on the checklist before we send it out. And one thing to take note of here too, we do highlight it in red if it's a common mistake that the DMV or the private tag agency observes. So they're communicating with us saying, hey, a lot of the dealers, they miss this certain aspect of the paperwork, of the title work of the deal, however, and we are going to be able to let you know by putting it on the checklist. So it looks like for Illinois, it's just one little spot that's missed, and it just says, if submitting to the PTA, the office will prepare the application. So the private tag agency prepares application. You guys wouldn't have to worry about that if you did the PTA. If it's the DMV, though, it is something that would have to be prepared, and it gives you the hyperlink to go access it. So everything below, you can see the buyer name there, signature as well. You can see how that one isn't in yellow. So it can be like a Route 1 or a DocuSign or some other type of electronic signature too. Below, we get the mailing instructions. So as you can see here, there is going to be 3 addresses in here. So for Illinois, that's a little bit wonky. And I believe you guys did mention this too, that there are going to be different checks need to be made out to different entities. So the title and registration, looks like it has to go to Illinois Secretary of State. Sales tax has to go to the Department of Revenue. And this is, if you guys did go through the private tag agency, the Illinois Title and License Service, that was $50. You would have to make out an agency fee too to the Illinois Title and License Services. That is if you are going through the private tag agency. And it says right here, if mailing to the title and license. For the 50 state DMV, it asks just for one check there. So I guess they might disperse it from there. But that's if you're going through them. Of course, we selected that we're going through the DMV. So that's what we're going to do. We're solely going to focus on here. So if mailing the work directly to the DMV, 2 checks. Secretary of State, Department of Revenue. And with the mailing information, so a lot of times it does populate here. So for Illinois and the 2 demos I've ran, it hasn't. I guess for the fact that it is going to be a little bit different. So you can just, I guess, look up who to mail that paperwork to. Typically, what you would see is everything in here is going to be loaded with a phone number as well, just because it's a little bit more straightforward. And I guess that's probably why Illinois causes some trouble. But that's where that field is, just the mailing information, who to make the check, who to mail it out to. And you can see as well, it'd be the Secretary of State. But below, we are going to get to the contact information. So this can be pretty populated as well for you guys. So it can be just the dealership name and then whomever you want it to be contacted. So any title clerks, yourself, Andy, whomever, that your name, phone number, email can be in here. So if the private tag agency needed to contact you or the DMV, you are going to be the point of contact with this specific deal. We're going to get to the license plate destination form. So you can see you can actually get it sent to the owner. So you can put in their information here and have it sent to them. However, you can also have it sent to the dealership, which is that what you guys do for the most part, get the license plate sent back to you?
No.
Okay, you have it sent to the customer?
Correct.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so keep that pretty standard. If you wanted to ship it back to you, of course, that can be done as well for any deal tracking. But, if you just want to ship it to the owner, make it as seamless as possible. There you go. That's the option provided. And we do give the shipping options below. Return label, USPS as well. Obviously, no tracking provided, I guess, with the postal service. Next, we're going to get to some state-specific forms. So another Secretary of State power of attorney form. Gives the power of attorney here. There's the vehicle, the purchasing information. It's going to give another wet signature spot that the customer has to sign in person once again. And you can see I'm clicking here and I can't edit it, of course. Below, we are going to get to this deal summary. So it's everything that we've gone through, just summarizing it for you once again. You can see that transaction information, vehicle info, purchase info, the customer info here. This would be if you guys did do the transfer of the license plate, that would be filled here. Lien holder info, more Secretary of State pages here, and these fields you can edit. Everything in that light blue, you can. Additional Secretary of State, looks like this one is the odometer. Then we get the notice of lien here. A lot of the information filled in with more wet signatures. Illinois is pretty heavy on those. Don't see that many normally. We get to the Secretary of State page again, just a little bit different. And finally, this Department of Revenue form here, title form, all with a lot of the information already entered in. And that's that. So that is the nationwide auto titling program that we offer. Is there any remarks or any questions that you might have for me to further clarify anything that you guys have seen?
No, I don't think I have anything right now.
Okay. Gotcha. So, I mean, it is pretty straightforward, everything just with entering all the information. I mean, do you guys think that this would be something helpful, just to streamline the process across the US?
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be helpful. I still need to talk to my controller and my GM as to if it's something we want to pursue.
For sure. Yeah, definitely sounds good. And what I'm going to do too for you guys is I'll stop this recording right now as well. But what I will do is I'm going to send this recording